Hey everybody, Jim Cowan here again, back from your UArts libraries. And today I want to take a quick look at OneSearch. OneSearch is the main library discovery tool that can help you find materials for your academic research, materials to use in your personal life, or just to inspire yourself creatively. OneSearch is of course available from the library homepage, library.uarts.edu. So let's go there now and take a look. Okay, so here we are at the library homepage, and the top left over here, you'll notice the default search bar is indeed for OneSearch. And the reason that is OneSearch tries to search all of the resources the library has access to. And if you think, what does that mean? If you look under online resources down here, you'll notice we have some different things broken out: our article resources, audio, video online, ebooks, etc. But if you click at that very first link, you'll see all the databases the library has access to. And when you use OneSearch to search the library resources, it's going to try to search all of these resources. Now let's go back to the library homepage, which you can always do by clicking on the logo on top. And when I say OneSearch tries to search all of the library resources, I do mean try. So for example, if you look at our reference sources down here, OneSearch can tell you what reference sources we have. So if you looked up Oxford Art Online, it would say, yes, the UArts library has Oxford Art Online. But if you looked up a particular artist, it could not show you the entry in Oxford Art Online that we have access to. So again, OneSearch is trying to search everything, but it's not perfect. The same thing goes for Alexander Street Video, our largest provider of streaming video. It's a great feature of that website is that it has transcripts to the vast majority of the videos in there. So when you use OneSearch to search, it can search the metadata that Alexander Street has, but it can't search the actual transcripts. So if you go into Alexander Street directly, you'll be able to find more things because you can search the transcripts. Now, of course, we don't expect you to know all of this, which is why when you're getting started in your research, or if you just have a question about library resources, please come in contact with us. We can tell you a bit more about them. And if we go back to the library homepage, as I mentioned, the online resources down here, we are going to take a look at some of these different pages individually in different Canvas modules. But for now, we do want to take a look at OneSearch. So let's do a basic search just to see what we get. So here we did a search on Kara Walker, and you can see it brought back 23,000 results, almost 24,000. So most of the time, you'll be able to find some things. One thing I do want to point out, and I apologize, I have to get myself out of the way over here, is that if you notice, when you first do a OneSearch search from off campus, it's going to ask you to log in. So let's go ahead and do that first and just get it out of the way. And bear with me here as everything loads. So I have already, obviously, I work at the library. I'm in here quite frequently. I have already signed in. So it didn't ask me for my credentials. But when you go to sign in for the first time, it will likely ask you to enter your UArts credentials, which is essentially your UArts email address without @uarts.edu and the corresponding password. Once you do that, you are signed into OneSearch, and you'll get access to everything the library has access to. Please keep in mind, signing into that is not the same as signing into an EBSCO or OneSearch account. So if you notice, even though we just signed in from the link that was previously right here, it still says to sign in over here on the right-hand side. That is optional. A great analogy my colleague and boss uses, Josh Roberts uses, is that think of it as signing into Netflix. When you sign in over here, that is just to tell Netflix you have an account. Then if you want to see your personalized recommendations from Netflix, or in our case, the personalized features that OneSearch will offer, you can sign in over here. We hope that you use library resources a lot, so I would recommend making an account. This will allow you to make different folders, so you can have a My Thesis folder, Dancers I'm Interested in Video folder, all these kind of different things to keep everything sorted. And of course, when you're doing academic research, you might find something to say, I'm not really sure that's for me. Then 2 days later, you go, oh, maybe that was for me. Well, if you create this and start saving things, you'll always be able to access things quickly. So I do recommend it, but it is not required. Okay, thank you for my little aside there. Back to OneSearch proper. So we've done a search on Kara Walker. First thing I should point out in terms of the results is under limit 2, you can see we've already limited it to full text. That means everything you found you should have immediate access to. We call it full text, but you might find videos, you might find images. It might not necessarily be virtual or digital print material, if you will. Once you start looking at the results, you can see in this instance, we did find a lot of print things. An article from an academic journal, a review of some sort, lots of academic journals, So let's take a look at a couple of these just to see what you're going to get and how you can access them. So you'll likely see underneath HTML or PDF full text. If you want to go right in and see something, either of these things can take you there. You can also highlight this little magnifying glass over here and get some more information, including subject headings, abstracts, so you can read a brief, blurb of it without having to read the whole article to find out it's not something you're interested in. And you can click on it, the article as well, to get more information. So let's click on that first one. And as you can see, we got a similar display as we got from using the magnifying glass. Here, though, you can see the images that are in the article, which is kind of nice. And if you scroll down again, here is the HTML. Usually when there's an HTML option, it'll be right below that brief display we just saw. If you see a PDF full text, and this is a matter of opinion, but I am a much bigger fan of PDF full text. So as you can see, I just clicked on that, and there is the article as it actually appears. So I think, the page numbers, the layout, everything's a little bit nicer than it is in the HTML version. Sometimes you might only get an HTML version. Obviously, use what you can. But that's there as well. Sorry, I just got a little sidetracked, and we're back. So let's go back to that result. On the right-hand side here, you'll see some more options as well. You can save things directly to your Google Drive. Again, if you created an account, you can add to folder. If you don't create an account and add to folder, that is temporary. The next time you shut down your browser or close your computer, everything in your folders will go away unless you create an account. You can print various amounts. That is dependent on the publisher. So for example, if this was an ebook, you might be able to print 60 pages or 100 pages. That is all dependent on the publisher. Same thing for saving. You can save a certain amount of pages based on what the publisher allows. And of course, the cite option is always very nice. If you click on the option to cite, you'll get all the different ways you can cite. Most, not all, most folks here, you are to use either MLA or APA, I believe. And again, you can just copy and paste it right in. Always double check these. These are machine created based on the metadata that exists in these records. So always double check to make sure they're right. Cool. And last but not least, if you do want to send this to somebody, maybe as an example, make sure you grab a permalink from down here. Don't use the code, the string that's in the search bar up top there in the URL there. That is temporary and only exists while you're actually doing your search. So if you were to send this to yourself and click on it 3 days later, chances are it won't work. However, if you click on permalink down here in the bottom right, there's your link, copy paste, good to go. Cool. So we're gonna wind down in a second, but let me go back to the search results real quick, which you can do by clicking on a result list here. And as I mentioned, this is automatically limiting to full text. As you can see on the left-hand side here, there are lots of different ways to limit. We'll just take a real quick look. Source type is great. If you do show more, you can see all of the different types of materials that come up. So if you only wanted biographical material, you can limit it to biographical. Reviews, you might not want reviews because this woman is an artist, of course. You might want reviews because there might be great reviews of her work. That's entirely up to you, and depending on your needs, you can limit here as you choose. I always recommend taking a look at subject headings. Obviously, a simple search on Kara Walker is very broad, but you can narrow that down. So let me scroll down a little bit. And maybe you wanted to talk about Kara Walker and how she looks at climate change. So here is your option to limit to only articles related to climate change. And it'll tell you on the right-hand side, once you do that, it's going to get you down to 92 results. And of course, you can go on and on and on. Publisher, language, geography, etc. And of course, a lot of people like limiting by date. So here's the option to do that. You can see they have articles going back to 1876. Whatever article mentions Kara Walker in 1876 is probably not the Kara Walker I was thinking of when I did this. So by all means, you can drag it and just say, okay, I want to know articles from, let's go recent, 1988 till today. And I believe you hit enter and it will update for you. So yeah, it didn't really limit our results, if I'm being honest. So most of the articles we're finding are recent about her. And last but not least, to come full circle, as I mentioned, when you do a OneSearch search from the home screen, library.uarts.edu, it automatically limits to full text. If you unclick that box and give it a second to load, you'll see you get a different set of search results. In part, that's because we are currently not really highlighting things that are in the library since we don't have access to it. But also in part, and bear with me as I scroll to find an example, here you can see number 8 says request this item through interlibrary loan. So when you unclick that full text box, not only are you going to find things that are available immediately at your fingertips, but you're going to find things that OneSearch knows exists in the world, but we don't have immediate access to. And that's fine. So if you were to find this and say, I would like to, excuse me, check out this article, you could request this item through interlibrary loan and we'll try to borrow it from another library. For articles, they'll usually just send us a PDF. It's oftentimes very quick. At the same time, it is a testament to doing your research early. Get started ahead of time, and that way if you find something we don't have, it gives us a chance to get it for you. Okay. So that was my very brief overview of OneSearch. There's a lot to unpack in this amazing tool. So if you have questions as you're doing your thing here at UArts, please don't hesitate to reach out to me or one of the other librarians. We are always here and happy to help. And I will see you soon in our next segment. All right, have a great day, everybody.